Hi. Welcome to episode 121 of the Postmodern Polymath podcast. Welcome, comrades. Hope you all doing well. It's been a while since I've done this. I'm in the new digs. You can't tell really. The picture's in the same place. The only difference is there's a big blob of light here now. So that kind of sucks. I got to figure out a way to do something with the light so it doesn't do that. But anyway, so yeah, and there you're there you are. The cat has decided to jump up here. She doesn't bother me until I jump. Excuse me. Yeah, so I got a new. I'm living in a new crib. A little fancier digs. Wasn't really feeling. The old place is a little too raggedy for my taste. I guess I'm a little spoiled on some things. I don't know. A little too suburban, lower middle class anyway. So yeah, I got a new place. The cats are still here. Obviously, I hadn't kicked her out. If I was gonna kick somebody, I'd be that cat. Seriously, the evil one. So, oh yeah, I'm drinking the official beer of the show, which is Lagunitas Imperial Stout, of course. And some gentleman in the beer group I just found in Nashville gave me a bunch of these variety of glasses. So I got some neat new glasses. Look at that, isn't that fancy? I know it makes you wet ass pussy just looking at it, huh? Anyway. So, moved in here, quarantining, not really much new going on in the world. Everything's hunky-dory, of course. Nothing really big's happening. It's not like anybody just got picked for a certain political position. Well, tentative position, anyway. But before we get into all that, let's do a little positivity, because it does look like to some extent some people are trying to do a little better about wearing their masks. Now, I'm not saying it's like a lot of people, but I've seen it more around here. So maybe in my little bubble. Of course, everywhere else, Tennessee is a shithole when it comes to the face mask thing. And but Nashville, of course, they've instituted a mandate now, so you have to wear a mask. So that, and of course, who's the first person they arrest? A homeless person. So that's not problematic at all. But they did have this house party. They got bunch of rich bastards here in Nashville had some sort of fucking house party, and the two people, whoever ran it, got arrested, I think, or got cited. I don't know, arrested or not, but apparently it was some big house party with a bunch of rich people and porn people. Apparently there was a porn star eating ass in plain sight. I don't know what kind of party this is, and I wouldn't want to go to that party, but I'm just saying I wouldn't mind seeing videos of that party. That's all I'm saying. If it weren't for coronavirus, all I'm going to say is I would not go. But, obviously, if it would, I can't just be going out. That's crazy. So they busted these guys for that, eating ass and cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. And then, of course, we have the super spreader event coming up, also known as the Sturgis Bike Extravaganza, Doucheganza. I don't know what the fuck you call it. Like 250,000. Here comes seriously 250,000 people, like 250,000 people, are going to this huge bike rally. Of course, everybody who knows anything about bikes knows about it. All these motorcyclists go up there. And they're mostly weekend warriors. Let's not act like there's not that many Hell's Angels in the world. Okay, it's mostly probably a bunch of fucking weekend warriors, bunch of fucking redneck wannabe fucking military people with their fucking small dicks and their fucking big guns who wouldn't know what to do with them. Probably if they wanted to, but so they're all headed up there with no masks, no distancing. Of course, the jokes they write themselves. One of the funniest but not funniest things is the fact that Smash Mouth is playing. And in case you might be forgiven for getting who the fuck they are, because I don't remember them one song they did, the All Star song, which I hated, always hated, never liked that shit. But now they're headlining, I don't know, headlining Doucheganza, Super Spreader Fest. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what they're calling it, but the, he was glorifying the fact that he was making fun like fuck COVID, woo, party time, pandemic. I mean, pandemic party time. So that's what's going to happen. Apparently, we're getting Smash Mouth. This is 2020, y'all. It keeps getting better. Keeps getting better. So we got Smash Mouth flaunting COVID at a bike festival with 250 million people. In personal sad news, I forgot to mention. Long time step pet of mine, Ralphie, the Chihuahua, who I knew from a puppy up until, well, I always knew, but I moved out. But I was close to him for a good 7 years past. It was a sad day. Anybody who has followed me for any length of time knows I posted like 1 million pictures of the old Ralphster. So that was sad. But, I don't really want to go too much into it, but just, keep them in your thoughts, keep my ex, but my friends, still in your thoughts, because that they were still living. He was still living there with them. And, of course, the dog has her daughter. So, he was a good pup. He was a good boy. He was, vicious. Chihuahuas usually are pretty vicious. He was loyal. He fucked with me. You risked the wrath of Ralph. I took him outside one time for Halloween, and he scared the shit of just about every kid that came up there, and it was joyous. It was fucking joyous. I mean, I'm sure the parents weren't too happy about it, but I don't give a fuck. It was funny. I mean, if I'm going to have to sit out there and do the candy shit, I'm at least going to entertain myself or whatever, right? So I guess I'm trying to hold off for Lyman, because Lyman's supposed to be, and he still isn't here yet, and he's irritating me. I mean, he's got shit going on. Don't I don't want to downplay that, but it's hard for me to just talk to myself. I mean, I used to have the pre-ramble, right, which is fine or whatever, but now it's like, and I used to have a guest. Well, I don't have guests. I haven't. Well, actually, speaking of, I will have a guest in 2 weeks. I'll go ahead and plug it now. What's today? I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah. Marie Delafont. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, or I'm trying to be all Frenchy about it. Marie Delafont is coming on. She's from Everyone's. Nearly did it. Everyone's Autonomous. Shit, I had to think for a minute. Podcast. She was Cass's co-host until he decided to just kind of retire. So she started her own podcast. Everyone's Autonomous, and it's about some of the same stuff, but also about other. Well, it's more about dealing with deconversion and as a person that after the fact, right? So how to deal with that, how to live like that. It's not something I'm terribly familiar with because I never really had a technical deconversion, I guess. So it's not quite the same. But I meant to have her on before. She's been on Zach's show, which, I mean, if you've been on Zach's show, you're hurting. You really reached the bottom of the barrel when you hit Zach's show. Love you, Zach. Love you, mean it. So yeah, she's going to be on in a couple of weeks. Should be interesting. I haven't actually talked to a guest since last time Dan Arrow was on. Of course, he's a polarizing figure because he's kind of a dick, right? I mean, and he's the king of hyperbole. He tends to kind of be a little much, but that's the charm or something. Kind of like me, the charm. You will notice that my hair has gotten increasingly longer. I am not cutting it. I have been back to work for a little while in spurts because I was needed for other tasks. And apparently there was an outbreak. Somebody got it there and they had to quarantine people. So I had to come. I don't even want to talk about it. But I have been somewhat out. I'm trying to stay mostly inside. Obviously, I did get some cool new cat masks. Crowsfield of my lady friend. I don't have any in here, or if I don't know where they are. They're blue background with little black cat heads everywhere, and it glows in the dark. So, I know you're excited to hear about that, but so anyway, and as I put on the intro to the show or on Facebook, if you want to come onto the show at any time, you can follow the link that I posted on the Facebook page, on my Facebook page. And it'll stick you in the backstage area. And I know I'm reaching here because nobody probably will, but that's okay. Disappointment is part of my life. That's okay. But if you want to come on, shoot the shit. There's only one real, I can't avoid the topic forever. And it's already causing some static. Well, as these things will. And it's an indicator of how important these times are, how crucial this election. Of course, we always say that the elections are crucial, blah, blah, blah. But, man, I'm sitting here and telling you, this man, I don't think I'm telling tales out of school when I say this man is fucking an existential threat to just literally just about anything, really. He's just Jesus Christ. So, I don't have to tell y'all that Trump is a fucking virus. He's the one, him and COVID. If we could find a cure for both of them in the same year, that'd be excellent. So when we have this election coming up, and of course, most of y'all probably know I consider myself more of a leftist. Okay, well, fair, but I trust most of y'all know the distinction between a leftist and a liberal, though I don't try to overplay that too much because it sounds like you're being kind of, pedantic and virtue signaling or some shit. I don't know. But, I guess when I think of liberal, they seem to be more attuned to the centrist Democratic. They're more like center left, maybe not even left, really, just centrist. Leaning left, I guess. I don't want to. I don't want to be hardcore about it because I try not to do that if I can help it. But liberals do seem to be kind of wishy-washy on some stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Of course, the big thing that happened yesterday. Was it yesterday? Shit, was it yesterday already? Yeah, because I was up arguing all night. was the selection of the vice presidential candidate who will run alongside Joe Biden. And out of all those, now I want to make clear here before I even start. He had already said it was going to be a black woman, and that's great. I have absolutely, I mean, I have absolutely no problem with the blacks. That's, no. My point in saying this up front is that it's not because already I'm getting accused of shit, and it irritates the shit out of me, for one thing, because just because you criticize somebody doesn't mean it's because of a certain trait or certain. I mean, I'm not ignorant. I'm not blind. I know these things happen, right? I'm a white guy, and it's even more suspect. I get that, but he was going to pick a black woman anyway, or a woman of color, and so he could have picked from. Tammy Duckworth was my choice. Okay, she was in the military. She was she was like a double amputee. She served. I mean, I read up on her a little bit. Her mom was from, I think she was Chinese. I think Chinese from Thailand, I want to say, and her dad was an engineer. I'm not totally sure, but and she doesn't fuck around. I mean, what you want a VP for? Typically, one of the things is they're kind of an attack dog, right? That's what Biden was supposed to be. To Obama, you're supposed to kind of fend off the attacks from the hoi polloi or whatever, the masses, the teeming masses, right? Okay, well that's fair. So anyway, Susan Rice was another one that had been mentioned. I heard there's a couple. Stacey Abrams, I never really thought would have been a good fit, mostly because I think her work in Georgia is too important, and she's really making an impact there. And I think she'd make more of an impact there than she would as a vice president. I mean, let's just be honest. All the hullabaloo about it. In this sense, and it's really symbolic. Let's just be honest about it, because vice presidents don't really do a whole lot. I mean, really, technically, the only power they have is as president of the Senate, right? They tiebreakers and shit, but they don't really have any power other than what they are delegated by the president, unless I'm mistaken, which I'm fully willing to be, corrected on that front. But, so the vice presidential candidate was still, like I said, it was symbolic. We already knew it was going to be a black woman, which already is history making, right? Okay. So, and of course, the one person who was the front runner pretty much the entire time since the Democratic presidential debates, was Kamala Harris, because, I'm sure it had something to do with the way she came at his ass, right? And that, it makes, I guess, somebody who can fulfill that bulldog role, that kind of, that role of attacking your opponents, maybe kind of putting them out there for that, which isn't a bad thing. Okay. Anyway, so I'm getting off track here. So the choice was Kamala Harris. Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you, and I have been honest, and I think I get more shit because of the meme I put up, which some people weren't happy with the meme. And, frankly, I don't want to say I don't care, because I do, because I've got my bubble pretty well tightened, so I do give a fuck about what people think for the most part. But I do push back on some stuff when I think it's just a little bit much. Because I had posted that meme when the presidential Democratic debates were gone, when they were still trying to pick a presidential candidate. And it's not even real. I mean, people are like, well, it's fake. Well, of course it's fake. It's a joke. It's not supposed. Do I look like one of the? Do you know me? I'm not. That's stupid. I mean, I know it was fake. That was the point. It was a fake picture of her in a police uniform, putting child in handcuffs or some shit. Yeah, it was a joke. Well, it wasn't very funny. Okay, well, here's the thing. I don't. That's kind of the point, right? It's like dark humor, gallows humor. Because I thought about this because somebody called me on it, and I respect this person, right? And I thought about it, and well, why is it? It's not that. Why is it funny? And they were being sincere. Some people will say, "Why is that funny?" And they're trying to, because I do that too, right? You trying to make an explain, trying to make them think about it, and make me think about it, and they did it for a good reason. So I'm not really mad about it. It's just, it's not supposed to be funny. It's supposed to make you mad. It's supposed to, because I mean, now I've read up, and let me go ahead and say this as well. I've been trying to do some research and trying to get my thoughts around this whole thing before I start going too crazy, because my initial reaction was not favorable. Let me just say that first. As people who I know me well enough will probably already know that. But the reasoning behind it is it comes from a leftist point of view, I think. And what I don't really appreciate, and which is going to happen anyway, but I don't really care. I do care. I do care from people I actually know and care about, who would assume this is the reason I would make any. Obviously, don't do it because she's a woman or black woman or both, right? Or actually mixed because she's also Indian. I'm not going to tolerate that kind of shit. And I'm not going to, I would call out anybody for anything, right? And I would hope that if you know me well enough, you know that, right? Any criticisms I make about her are strictly on that basis. Now, already though, because I posted that meme, which, okay, maybe y'all don't think it's funny. Okay. I'm into darker humor, and sometimes it gets maybe a little much, I guess. I'm sorry. It's not as bad as I used to be, which is, I know, not very. It's not necessarily great. Well, so I'm not as bad as I used to be, But, I've got more because I've been seeing them pop up other places, other friends I have and I have more leftist friends probably than I do liberal friends. Although it's more than it used to be, but I don't know. It's hard to tell though because the algorithms. My closest friends are generally lefties. But this puts things in an interesting position for a couple of reasons. For one thing, because the intersectionality issue, I think, is really kind of making things interesting here. Because, and I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? Because you know how I do things around here. The most pushback I got from that meme were white women. Which, okay, okay. I don't know why that is. White liberals are fun. I don't know, and I'm not being snarky too much. Y'all can't take a little, little heat, little love, baby. Y'all can and do the same thing to me. So, it just seems like I don't like what I consider, I don't know, hero worship's not really the right. Well, I don't know. It kind of is sometimes because people will get so like into a thing, right? Like as soon as I put that meme out, are you a Russian troll? I'm like, do you fucking what? What are you talking about? A Russian troll? That is literally the same thing I put out during the debates, but all of a sudden now, because she happens to be the VP pick, I'm a troll. Okay, no. It's funny to me. You may not think it's funny, and that's fair, and you may be right that it's probably not in the best taste, but, and I'm not the only one, and I'm not this white guy shouting in the wilderness about this shit or whatever. There are plenty of people who are pissed off about this pick. Okay. but I'm still voting blue. All right. And even if she hadn't been selected, it was going to be a garbage fucking. It didn't really matter really who it had been, who it was. To be honest with you, you got fucking Sleepy Joe. I mean, come on, Democrat. I mean, at the best, you're going to get a centrist. You're going to be lucky if you get anything resembling left leaning policies, really. But I mean, Supreme Court, I guess, and RBG is hanging on for us. So we got, you know, we got to make sure we kind of push through on that, I guess. So, having said that, though, there were so many other people that could have been picked. And I don't even, I mean, I'm not in the selection committee, so I mean, I'm sure there are fucking, and I'm not talking about Susan Rice is another one, Stacey Abrams, somebody, Duckworth. There was some congresswoman from, I don't remember, it was like a long shot. She was in, I mean, apparently it was, from what I read, there's like the short list was 10. So, on this page, let's go ahead and let's set the scene here, shall we? We have a list of 10 women of color because they're all women of color. Now, I'm not sure if it was because Duckworth is Chinese or Thai or whatever. So I mean, she's not black, obviously. So I don't think it was specifically black women. I think it was women of color along a broader spectrum, right? So we know it's going to be a woman of color, right? Okay. What do we know about what's happening in our country right now? What's the zeitgeist? What is happening right now in our country? What is some of the biggest, well, basically, like one of the biggest movements going on right now? BLM, right? Black Lives Matter. And what's one of the outgrowths of Black Lives Matter? What's one of the, actually, that's more reaction to what? Well, BLM's been here for a while, but more of a catalyst towards was George Floyd and his murder, right? By cops. And so that has ignited this whole, and Black Lives Matter's been there, y'all. Don't act like, they've been there. They've been on the forefront, but there's always a catalyst that sets things like this off. You can never tell which specific thing it's going to be, right? It's always just going to, that's the way history rolls, man. Sometimes you just don't know. So this set off the whole thing with the police brutality, and defund the police, ACAB, and all that shit, right? So basically, we're talking about defund the police. They're under a lot of scrutiny. Some cities are already voting to, and of course, people abolish the police. Whatever, I don't give a fuck, okay? Because some people are trying to make it sound like we're trying to get rid of every police person ever. It's going to be cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, craziness, people running wild at the purge. No, you dumb fucks. Of course, people who say that are the ones that don't really care. They just want a reason to hate liberals. And they want lefties to die anyways. It doesn't really matter. They want the cops to go kill everybody that they don't like. They'll get mad when they pull Billy Bob over, right? They'll get mad at that, but, as long as they go kill, black people and Antifa or something, that's fine. So, anyway, so in the backdrop of defund the police and the police abolition, and all these things we're starting to see come into focus that have always been there, but have seemed to come out and have been building, right? Been building up, and that was just coming. It's all kind of just coming out now. I mean, it's been there, but I mean, this catalyst has kind of just really brought it out front, right? In this moment in our time in our history, right? We have this consensus that's at least coming from some quarters. Obviously, the right, you're never going to get on board with this, but we need to reallocate. We need to structurally alter what policing is and what it means in this country. Historically, it has been a weapon of oppression against poor and or people of color. And this is a history that has never been reckoned with. And it's one that needs to be taken into account. It's one that needs to be, you're never going to get rid of it. Okay, let's just be honest. I mean, this country was born on oppression. So you're never going to get rid of it completely. All you can do right now is you get rid of the police for the most part. You have like a couple for, I mean, you're going to have something for like serious murder people, right? But as, I guess, I mean, and that's another issue, right? That's a whole other thing. That's a different conversation. What we're concentrating on right now, right this second, what are we concentrating on? We're concentrating on like all the money that we give to the police and we don't give to any like social services and shit, right? So cops get all this money, right? And it's not necessarily their fault. I guess, right? Just like it's not the fault of of some soldier when the DOD or the Pentagon gets this huge chunk of the national budget, so we can be like the fucking biggest military by 100 fucking times or whatever the fuck it is. It's not really their fault, right? So what needs to happen? This money, but they don't know. You take this money, and this is what people have been saying, right? You take some of this money and you reallocate it. You put it in, because cops aren't supposed to be doing everything, but the way they've been playing it out is they want cops to do everything. Well, they don't need to be. And even of course, most cops, I don't know, they don't want, I mean, it's like getting cats out of trees and shit. Don't you got somebody else to do that? I mean, that's maybe a stupid example, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Come on, you reallocate. For example, you got the cops don't know how to deal with mental illness, right? You get somebody who can deal with mental illness, right? And if things get rowdy, even then you don't need you need people who know how to deal with people with mental illness, right? And they've tried to do that in Denver. I don't know how successful it's been so far, but you need to try to do that, we're talking about social services. We're talking about housing. I'm talking about taking the money and giving it to the community to be proactive, so we don't need to do any policing, which is always. I don't think I can think of an instance where I've been involved with the police where it has been where it has been something that's been positive. I'm sure there is. But I'm telling you, man, it's not. It can't be unless, of course, you're rich, and that's another thing. The police are a tool of the elite, and they have been. That was their role from the very beginning. So, by that very nature of the institution, it's going to be oppressive, just like the very institution of this country, which is a whole different subject, built on slavery, built on oppression, is going to be a vehicle for that. I mean, you can't really, of course, we get all high. That's another one. We have to tear the country down and rebuild all over again because it's fucked. Of course, we're talking about revolution and all that. That ain't me. So you gonna go talk to fucking Dan Arrow about that shit because that ain't how I do it. But anyway. So this is what we're talking about. This is the year we're in. This is where we're at. And so to enter into all this, we have, in the middle of this, we have COVID going on, which is not relevant to this particular subject, but obviously it is relevant. And we have coming into this, we have a Democratic presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. We have a chance here, right? To make some. I don't know how much change it really would be with a Congress that won't do fucking shit. It depends how much Congress. It depends how big the wins are. I don't know as to how much they'll be able to get done. But a strong left progressive administration at this point in time, I think, would at least get some shit going, would get some solid shit going, right? In the right direction. I don't know if it'd be enough momentum to carry forward or not, but at least we're getting our, you know, our feet going, right? Or on the track. However, we get Joe Biden, which for me wasn't even a foregone. In fact, he wasn't even in the race until fucking like nearly towards the latter half, right? Everybody else is in before his fucking ass decided to jump in. Well, of course, as soon as he jumps in, everybody is on. All the establishment just loves him, of course. DNC loves him. He's Obama's VP, of course. So, of course, instantly he's getting all the love. He's getting all the money, the donor money, all that shit. Meanwhile, you got Bernie, who was already in there, and let me be clear. I like some Bernie. Okay, I love some Bernie. I liked Elizabeth more. Well, yeah, that's a different subject, but it's moot now, really. But anyway, the point is, Bernie was there, and he was getting money, big money, off of small donations. And this is good. This is the way we needed to go. This is looking good. We're getting people to give money. It's not big donors. It's not big corporations, right? So, and then all of a sudden we get Sleepy Joe jumping in. Now, we all know Joe isn't the fucking most and he has a speech impediment. Okay, fine. But he does like to go off script, and he does like to tell these little stories where he shouldn't be talking, but he does. He's gaffe prone, and it's got nothing to do. And I will fight anybody to the death on the whole idea of dementia, because unless you're a doctor, you need to shut the fuck up because you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. You don't. I know people who are my age who talk worse than he does. Are they demented? No, they're just fucking stupid, right? So I mean. And I'm not saying he's stupid, but I'm just saying, just because his speech impediment, maybe I don't know, some people don't speak very well and they try to get thoughts out and it doesn't work. It happens to me. I mean, who knows? I don't fucking know. But I'm not going to play that game. There's plenty of other things I don't like about him without me going to fucking ableism and ageism, although they hesitate to use that against Bernie's ass. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so we get Joe coming in, and he's Joe, right? So he just likes to say stupid shit, as he does. Y'all know. I don't need to reiterate every fucking fucked up thing he said. Y'all already know. I don't need to go into that. So... But he didn't catch on. He really didn't. Nobody gave a fuck up until South Carolina. And that's when it happened, right? That's when things got on fire, lit on fire. The Bernie coalition didn't appear, right? So, what, kids? I mean, okay, so... Really, his biggest base were the youth vote, really, and the smaller youth vote. I think he was counting on, and he didn't get that, and he didn't get the black vote in the South, and you're just not. Joe Biden was always going to get that, and I don't blame that. I mean, he's attached to Obama, and they're afraid of. When you've been oppressed for so long, and I don't want to sound condescending, so that's patriot. I can't. I'm not going to speak on that because it's not my place to. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. So, but he lost momentum. Bernie basically lost then when that happened. So anyway, the point is, Biden is going to get the nomination. Not some of these fucking dumbass Bernie, never, always Bernie people, notwithstanding, I'm going to run the man. Okay, dumbass. I mean, what the fuck? And I am pissed about Warren didn't at least get, I can't believe she didn't get more. She was a good compromise candidate. I actually voted for her in the primary because initially I was going for Bernie, but then I was like, and I knew she probably wasn't going to win it. And I was pretty sure Bernie wasn't going to win it at that point because Tennessee's primary is later, and the writing was already on the wall, right? And of course, I got, well, you're wasting your vote. Well, you can kiss my ass. How about that? It's my vote to waste. So, you want to talk about sexism? There is sexism right there. The fact that Warren didn't even get fucking, despite the fact that she was at least as qualified as Biden. I mean, come on. Biden's been in the Senate longer, I guess, but I don't know. She should have gotten more than she did. She got shit on because she was a woman. I don't care what anybody says. So the idea that I would go against criticism, go criticize somebody because they're a woman, you just kiss my ass. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Biden is going to be a Democratic nominee, whatever. So anyway, this is all a build up. I'm going somewhere with this. So we got all this happening, right? We got Sleepy Joe, not the best guy, centrist as fuck, whatever. He's basically the DNC establishment candidate, like we always get, right? So coming into all this, we said, okay, let's pick a VP candidate. And if they say you want to get somebody who like balances you out, gets votes that you can, because he's a white dude, so you get a younger woman of color. Okay, that makes sense. So that was already in the works, right? So you pick Kamala. Now, the thing is, and I did a little more research today, and I've done a little more thinking, and I'm still not happy, but I'm a little less, I don't know, outright just pissed, because whether or not her record indicates that she is basically a cop, right? And these are the arguments that are coming from the leftist side. Well, she was a fucking, how are you going in the midst of everything going on with BLM and the against cops, and we got Blue Lives Matter, we got police brutality, we're trying to defund the police. Why the fuck would you select somebody who and for whether it's fair or not, a lot of people see her as a cop, and she's called herself the top cop. So let's not act like this is some semantic game. I mean, technically, okay, she is a DA, is not a cop, but she works with the police in order to make prosecutions, right? So you can just miss me with that shit, right? So whatever you think about that and her record, and I did a little research, and when she was with the San Francisco DA's office, I mean, yeah, that was back in, and we were still in the Democrats doing the whole, and Republicans, was pretty much a tough on crime shit was still going on back then. Okay, fair. I'm not going to take that as much into account as I am. But when she was AG, California AG, then things were starting to go toward the other direction. And she calls herself a progressive prosecutor, but I just don't buy that. I mean, at best, she didn't do any worse. I don't know that I'd call her progressive. There were some things that she did do, right? And there are some things she went backwards on. So I don't think that is unfair to talk about. I don't think that's something that's unfair to bring up, because these are the same things that got brought up during her presidential run, but all of a sudden we're not allowed to because she was picked as VP. Now, I do understand that again, VPs don't do as much as presidents do, obviously, right? So her qualifications as a VP pick are not the same, are not going to be the things she did before as a DA and a prosecutor, as a district attorney and as a attorney general, are not going to be the same necessarily, the same role she'll be playing. However, you can't tell me she's not going to have, they're not going to hand her a very decisive role when it comes to law and order shit. And anytime you hear law and order, which if they say it, you better watch out because those motherfuckers are coming for you. Law and order is always a goddamn code for fucking, we're going to lock up some black people. Okay. I mean, just, or people of color, men of color, basically Latinos, black guys. It's going to happen. Okay. So that's what I'm afraid of. And I saw somebody point out that there were, I mean, in this particular article I was looking at, they're going to backslide as soon as things get too hard when they're doing this. They think it's too hard to do any of this reform shit. They're going to start backsliding to the old position of, well, we're going to have to crack down. And then we're back to the same fucking place we were before. So I don't know. She's not going to be AG. I mean, she wouldn't be why can't I think of that? Attorney General, federal, whatever. I can't think. But she's going to have input. You can't tell me she's not going to have major input on that pick. So, I mean, while she may not be in that role, she's going to be all up in it. She'll be anything to do with law and order, any law enforcement, anything like that is going to be her in her wheelhouse. So I would watch out for that. But anyway, all this to say that I'm a little pissed off because I'm a little pissed off at, and let me say again that, and I keep bringing it back to this because this is the one thing that everybody's bitching about is this meme I posted or whatever. And it's just, okay, you know what? I get to be pissed off. And I get to be snarky. Okay? Because they could have picked so many other people. And yes, I know she's a black woman and it's historic. I get that. But it would have been a black person, a black woman or a woman of color regardless. Okay? So don't try to use that fucking bullshit. All right? What you need to be thinking about is her past record, if it's going to be used in a deleterious way towards the very people they're supposed to be helping, which who knows who that is, corporate interest or poor black people. Who knows? I don't know yet. I mean, don't sit there and act like Democrats have never fucking been. Bill Clinton, he was fucking horrible. He increased incarceration rates fucking exponentially for black people. So shut the fuck up on that. Just because he's a Democrat doesn't mean anything. Just because she's a Democrat doesn't mean any fucking thing to me. So, yeah, let me be pissed. Let me be upset by the fact that they could have picked literally anybody. They pick her, and then now all of a sudden I'm a horrible person, and people seem to forget the fucking things that they didn't like about her just fucking, 6 months ago, all of a sudden now she's God-gifted, she's not allowed to be talked about. We're going to give the election to Trump. And incidentally, that fucking argument can lick both my balls because I hate that argument. Somehow, if I speak against the ticket, somehow I'm helping Trump get elected. I want somebody, and I want anybody to explain to me the reasoning behind that. Because it makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. How is my personal opinion and me expressing my opinion on Facebook? Now, some people have a Facebook that's wide open in public. Mine is not. Mine is locked down. You can't even see it from the outside. I got now where if you see it public, if you somehow see it, which you can't search for it, if you happen upon it, You're not going to see anything about the profile pic and the name. That's it. That's all you're going to see. Okay? So I'm not public. I'm not a public figure. My opinion means nothing to anybody except to the people, my friends list, and even most of them don't give a shit. So the only people I could possibly influence with my storied opinion, my well-informed opinion, are the people who already either A, know me and know my opinions, or B, people who know me and know my opinions and don't give a fuck and don't like them. So I don't understand the logic of me not being, let me shut my mouth. I don't do anything. I don't talk to anybody. I don't go anywhere. What do you think I'm doing? So excuse me if I'm going to rant on my own page about the fact that we picked like the worst fucking person we could possibly pick out of the available choices for VP. Just pardon me for a minute. And pardon me for posting admittedly, maybe. No, was it bad? I don't know. If that was a white dude, would you be? I don't know. It almost, this is what worries me. It's the same thing that happened with Hillary. Like, we're not allowed and there was sexism involved. I'm not, again, with her and with Elizabeth Warren, both. There's a double standard when it comes to this shit. And I know that. And I'm not unknowledgeable when it comes to that. And I see that. However, there is a difference between legitimate criticisms of somebody's policy, but then trying to use somebody's gender or race or whatever, trying to use that as an excuse to say, well, you're just saying that because they're a woman or black or whatever. You can fuck right off with that shit, because that's not any better than people who criticize Israeli policies. Well, you're an anti-Semite. Well, fuck you. No, I just think they're doing fucked up shit. They just happen to be Jewish. I don't give a fuck. Anybody who knows me knows I go with the issues. I don't give a fuck if it's a woman, a man, or wherever on the fucking the chart you're talking about. I don't give a fuck. So don't try to use this as shit against me or anybody else. Just because she happens to be a black woman doesn't mean she's not open for criticism on shit that she's done in the past, and shit she might do it again. Okay? Again, I know being a VP is not as important as being the president. They don't have as much power. Yes, I know she has been more progressive as a senator, although she's only a junior senator, and so she hasn't got as much done. Right? And that's another argument. Why the fuck would you even try to run for president if you're only a junior senator? I don't understand the logic behind that. Hell, at least Warren had the decency to be fucking in there for a while. She had some shit behind her. She actually tried to do some shit, right? What the fuck did Kamala do? Come on. I don't know. It just seems like, as a general rule, and this is for any, Kennedy wasn't that. Obama, how the fuck long were they in before they ran for president? I mean, come on. No. A lot of that's ego anyway, so calm the fuck down. But anyway, I don't think it's out of bounds for me to, or any leftist, to say what, And yes, I know I can say what I want, blah, 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 blah. I'm not complaining. My rights, my freedom, my free speech. I'm not complaining about any of that shit. That's not the issue. I guess I'm just bitching to myself. And I'm bitching. It is kind of like, I can't say this on my own page. But I mean, frankly, there is a split. And I saw it as soon as that came up. As soon as I posted this. Because I was one of the first ones that posted, because it popped right up on my NBC timeline. I'm like, oh, God damn it. My first reaction was, the caption I posted was, disappointed but not surprised I was rooting for Duckworth. Pretty mild, right? Pretty basic. But then I thought about it more and I was more pissed off. So then I had to. But I was egged on. I was enabled because there's a gentleman named John Livingston who I don't think he cares to call him a name because he's on the podcast, Angry Black Z, Let me see if I can talk. Angry Black Rant Z, which he took over from Ishmael, rest his soul. He's sharing this stuff, and he's getting shit for it too. I got more. I'm keeping them. I'm not gonna fucking post them, and I think they're funny. But y'all need to calm the fuck down, because humor is something that's used to fucking cope with shit. And I'm not fucking... I know how it works. Don't punch down. Punch up. You're punching up. Okay? Let's be honest here. Okay, yes, she's a black woman. Black, half black, half Indian. But it's neither here nor there. But if we're talking about intersectionality... She's pretty, I mean, come on. She's wealthy. She's a well-known politician. So you can't use that forever to always insulate anybody from criticism just because. Otherwise, you wouldn't fucking ever criticize. You couldn't ever get a... I'm sorry, you enter the public arena. You enter the public service. You are open. You open yourself to that. That's part of the fucking job. If you don't like it, don't get in it. And... y'all need to calm the fuck down, okay? I'm sorry. Am I going to do it just constantly? No, but yeah, I'm not going to constantly just be bitching about it the whole time, no. But right now, while I'm pissed, yeah, you might see some memes that might make you a little mad, okay? Because she's not perfect. Don't act like all of a sudden y'all think she's fucking perfect. We got to get behind her. Oh, she's wonderful. She's a woman. I don't fucking... but so was Sarah Palin. That don't mean shit. Think that means a goddamn thing? No. Try again. Anyway, so since Lyman decided he wasn't going to show up, and fuck him, I don't need him because I was at an hour ranting. And who doesn't want to hear an angry white man rant? After all, I'm going to get behind Team Biden Harris. I'm not one of these people like Dan Harrell. Love him to death, but he's a fucking radical fuckstick, and he can be so insufferable sometimes. Unless you're going to fucking blow up the entire system, unless somehow magically you're going to get rid of the two-party system, unless somehow magically you're going to completely change the voting system in this country to make it where the electoral college is abandoned and we have like ranked person voting or some shit. Not popular vote, because I would be bad too. We need some sort of ranked system where you pick the, for top 3 people or whatever. Until that happens, man, y'all need to fucking vote. Just shut the fuck up. All right. He can do that because he's in fucking California, whatever. Calm down. But if you're in a swing state voting, not voting, I don't know. I don't really know what the fuck's wrong with you. I gotta be honest with you. Unless you're doing some where you think you're somehow being a rebel, which, okay, you do you, whatever, you're still a dumbass. I know, I already know a couple people are like that, and I'm telling them that you're still a dumbass. I may agree with what your views. I may agree with everything you say, but the fact that you're not going to vote tells me that you just don't really give a fuck, really. And of course I guess you could say this at any time. Well, this is a crucial election, but come on, man. You can't sit there and tell me this fucking guy is fucking anything resembling normal. Come on. We're talking about this Donald Trump. How can you look at this man? I mean, at least with W, you could tell he at least gave somewhat of a fuck, right? He was a puppet for the first 4 years, and he was less of a puppet the second 4 years. But you could tell he had a heart, and he was a bumbling fuck up. Yes, he's a war criminal. All presidents are war criminals. Right? But he's within the normal continuum of presidential war criminality, right? Donald Trump is outside of it in another dimension. I don't know what the fuck's happening. Okay, this man is an existential threat to fucking the planet as far as I'm concerned. So, and I know people, I'd literally vote for a baked potato to get this fucker out. I don't know why the fuck I'm having to choose. I mean, all the people you could have chosen, you got fucking Sleepy Joe and the top cop. I don't know why we're doing this, but I mean, okay. It's the same thing that I did with fucking Hillary, I guess. Hillary, I guess. I didn't like her either. But was it because she was a woman? No. And if you think that, and if you know me, then you don't fucking know me. So try again. So I may lose. And I'm not one of these people. I'm going to lose some friends. Like it's some kind of badge of honor. It's just irritating sometimes. I mean, I try to be fucking good, but sometimes I just get pissed off. I'm like, you want to please people that you care about, right? But sometimes people can be so fucking insufferable. I believe what I believe. I do what I do. I'm going to, of course, you negotiate someone. You not negotiate, but there's a give and take in the public forum. If it's between people that you care about, right? And obviously, but I'm willing to give you some slack. I need you to be willing to give me the benefit of the doubt when I say that fuck Kamala Harris. I don't give a fuck what anybody else say. And then I'm going to try not to post any more of those memes that one may not have been particularly funny. I don't know. No, frankly, I don't fucking care. I liked it. However, I have more. And I'm not threatening you. I do care about people. I do care about this election. I do care about getting rid of Donald Trump. I care about all these things. But I'm going to... What I say on my own personal Facebook page is not going to sway the fucking election. I'm not an opinion maker. Nobody's watching this, hardly. Nobody's listening to me. I'm on Facebook. Nobody's fucking listening to me. Y'all need to calm the fuck down, quit taking yourselves so seriously. And pay attention to the shit that's actually happening and worry about that shit. And really, you need to worry about the local elections. You need to worry about supporting organizations that are actually doing work, like BLM, like Gideon's Army, like a number of local organizations you might have helping the homeless, or, helping poor families, or helping domestic violence shelters or something. This fucking presidential election doesn't mean a goddamn, well, I mean, it does. Within the context of the larger picture, I mean, as long as it's not Trump, does it really, I mean, I mean, don't act like presidents don't do shit that Trump is doing. They're just slicker about it. Okay. I'm not saying like literally stuff he does, but they all do shady shit. They just don't get caught. And they certainly don't do crazy shit like he does. But I mean, let's not act like it's somehow a popularity, popular place to be or whatever. Anyway, I guess I'm done rambling. I managed to go through an hour and ramble. This is an important subject to me, I guess. I want to thank Lyman for not showing up so I can ramble for an hour straight. But to be fair to him, he's got some stuff going on. I understand. So I wish him well. Give Lyman your thoughts. I don't want to go into exactly what it's about, but it's some personal stuff, and it's pretty hairy stuff going on right now, and he's using a lot of emotional energy on that. So hope everything comes out okay, Lyman. Love you, and of course I'm here, and all of y'all some of y'all who listen to some portions of this, I really appreciate you listen to me ramble for an hour. I'm sure, of course, I don't expect anybody to watch the full hour because you have things to do like, I don't know, clip your nails, literally anything else. But anyway, all right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Hopefully I'll be back next week. We'll see. Now that I got the new place set up, I'm feeling a little more... This new place is feeling a little more homey. Like my home. The other place didn't. So raggedy. I was trying to go for cheap, but it was too cheap, right? And I hate that. And it's okay. It's so the Central American Mexican types live in that part of town, right? it sucks that they have to be there. It sucks that they can't live in places. They can't give people places to live that are decent. And everybody, not just me, anybody, right? Everybody should be able to have a decent home. And I have the means to be able to, move out of that situation, but not everybody does. And so that's another thing. Immigration. Don't get me started on that. And oh my God, that could be next episode. The Immigration Nation show. Oh my God, it's so infuriating. Actually, I may see if I can get somebody to come on and talk to me about that. That'd be a good subject for next time. Anyway, but I'm liking this new place. I'm just gonna have to I'm white. I'm lower class white. Well, wannabe hipster, pseudo proto hipster white, lower class white or something. I don't fucking know. I like it. Fuck you. I don't care. Anyway, all right, y'all. Well, until next time, y'all take it easy now. Okay.